Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Today I have a very special replay. Today I have a game between Clem here in the bottom right, spawning as our blue Terran player, and SERRAL in the top left as our red Zerg. Now Clem versus SERRAL by itself isn't that special. It's special however because it is a ladder replay. SERRAL replays are hard to come by, one because he doesn't release replay packs of his ladder games, and B because he is one of the only professional players in Europe that doesn't play that much ladder, where the other top players have 400, 500, 600 games under their belt already this season. SERRAL has about 96, I believe it is. Well, it's difficult for him to hide, despite him trying. He's on a barcode here, but he's the rank 1 on the ladder. It's difficult to, it's difficult to hide if you're that much better than the others. So yeah, we all know who SERRAL is, of course. Rank 1 on the ladder, but very little ladder games. Managed to snatch this little replay. And we see Clem opening up over here on Golden Aura with a double barracks opener. Now, double barracks opener are kind of synonymous to 3 or 4 Reaper openers. It's very rare to see something else than Reapers coming out of these barracks, although it has been done in the past. I think I've seen Gumiho open up with like a double Marine opener from multiple barracks trying to snipe Overlords. If you've watched any of my cheesiest Man Alive videos, I have tried to do it as well. Not with great success, but I've tried. There have been people in the past that have tried it. But most of the time at the high level, we are seeing these double barrack builds go into multiple Reapers. Most of the time 3, sometimes we see 2, sometimes we see 4. And on very rare occasions, we even see 5 Reapers coming out. Now, there's a lot of different follow-ups behind this as well. So you can go into just any type of 2 racks, like 2-1-1 type of setup. Which is kind of what I'm expecting Clem to do here. Knowing Clem, straight away into a factory. There we go. This is kind of what I had expected. Triple Reapers are out right now, and they're trying to hit a hatchery. I'm not quite sure how successful they're going to be at that. This Overlord is now going to come in with a scout as well.
The hive cluster is under attack.
And this hatch is in some trouble. 6 links on the way out, and that's going to bring the total of links to 9. We're just going to have to wait and see how Clem is going to follow up. I was going to say that Clem most of the time likes to play triple CC openers as well. So despite this being a very fast stim push, he's still going to add that third CC. As we can see, there was about 400 minerals in the bank. SCV was in position. It's not the hardest call to make here. SERRAL is sneaking by this Overlord. And this is one of the things that people don't think of SERRAL as the guy that is, sneaking by Overlords. But he is that guy, all right? He absolutely is that guy. He has that dog in him, as they say. He's the type of guy that sneaks Overlords from 3 different angles into your main base. He always gets information. Whether you want it or not, he's gonna get that info. And this Overlord now is in a position where this Marine was too late already. And I think 4 minutes, maybe 4 minutes and 10 seconds into the game, SERRAL is going to send in this Overlord, send it towards its death, but wanting to know what's kicking up. And here we go. We have movement, and with movement, soon information will flow into SERRAL's massive galaxy-sized brain. These links are going to get caught by these Reapers and Hellions. The third CC is about to finish up. Overlord popping in over here, and this is the timing where Clem should be capable of realizing, hey, something is wrong. This guy is sending in the Overlord. He's going to send the Marines over to try and deal with that threat. But it's too little and too late. As the Overlord pops in, sees the orbital command, or sees the command center that's now going to morph into an orbital command pretty soon, and tries to run away. Might even be capable of doing that. Go into the dead space, and as a result, SERRAL won't even need to rebuild that Overlord. Now, he already was building 2 more. Pretty decent start here for SERRAL, who's only lost 4 links against really what is a very aggressive opener here coming out of Clem. It's an opener that cuts a little bit of economy. It still has a fast 2-1-1 timing, but your eco definitely is significantly worse, as single Hellions are being produced behind this, making me believe, yes, that it's going to be a hellbad attack, with that armory as well on the way here. 22 seconds out of 46. Orbital command now flying over towards the 3rd base location as well. And I'm really curious to see, okay, what SERRAL is going to do, because there is some debate amongst the Zergs whether the Baneling is still a worthwhile investment for Zergs after they get the centrifugal hooks in the new patch. They have 5 less HP than before the patch, making Terran just a bit stronger against it. Of course, just targeting it down with Marines or with Planetaries is much, much easier. But we do see SERRAL kind of going to that Baneling style right now. Here comes the attack. 2-1-1, 5-6 cars. Okay, there's 5 cars. Could turn into Hellbats at a moment's notice. 2 Reapers are here, perhaps for a couple of grenades as well. Lynx have to wait, have to jump in at the correct moment. But when is that correct moment? I'm not so sure. Queens are now running dry. There's still 1 transfuse available. Lynx coming in with a surround, trying to take out the Marines. Lynx are, well, dying one by one. Medevac still very healthy. No more transfuses available. That means that a couple of queens will fall. We see 5 queens going down, 28 Lynx. So that's 24 more than had died before this push. 5 Hellbats and 6 Marines. So the trade was good, but the question is the situation good? Because this trade was made within the context of having 64 drones here for SERRAL, while Clem, 84 supply, 52 workers, had those late extra barracks. This is one of the downsides, one of the major downsides that people don't think about when you're seeing 2-on-1 build orders, is that 2-on-1 build orders have very good production early on, but once they have to start adding these barracks, they have to add them 3 at a time. And there's a bit of a lull in the production and also in the pressure that Terran can put on most of the time. So we see 2 medevacs now popping out with what? This is going to be 12 Marines total. He's lost the majority of his units up here. Combat Shield is about to finish up, but there's not really any factory units except this single tank at home. Creep is, well, it's starting to thrive a little bit here on the bottom side of the map. Clem's still out on the map, but SERRAL just isn't afraid. He's not afraid. Went up to 81 workers, 7 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. That is very early on. This push is going to get cleaned up, or this little drop is going to get cleaned up. I'd love to see Clem just move towards this bottom side. Not because this tower is very important for Clem, but because this tower is relatively important for SERRAL. And that kind of makes it important for Clem to deny it. He doesn't really want to take this. Not right now. He doesn't have the tank count for it. Ooh. This Clem is opening up with 3 more barracks. So moving into what is also known as an 8 racks build order, where you get the barracks 6, 7 and 8, so going up to 8 barracks, before the 4th command center. And then the question now is going to be, is this going to be for pure marine production or will there be tech labs? And so far it seems pure marine production is going to be the answer. The tech lab version is a little bit less all-in and often transitions into a very delayed fort base. But for now, Clem says, no, I don't actually want a fort base. I just want as many Marines as I can produce. As I say that, he is saving some money. And I saw an SCV move in position as well to build that fort. Clem right now busy with more important things. Single drop with those 2 Reapers, or that 1 Reaper and the 3 Marines in there. Stim not activated yet here at the forward push near the 5th. As Clem is moving in position, but trying to take this base out. 3 tanks, Marines pre-split. Beautiful pre-split, by the way. Look at that. No more than 2 or 3 Marines within 1 Baneling's reach of exploding. Is there enough damage output, though, is the real question. I think the answer to that is pretty darn clear here. Although, reinforcements now streaming in. Baneling's trying to come in with a flank. The tail end of that engagement goes much better for Clem than the initial little fight, the skirmish that they have. Good target fire on those 3 Banelings there. Tanks in the back helping out as well. And you really see that Clem very keen on focusing down Banelings. He's not just pre-splitting and running away. No, he's one of those players that is confident in his ability to right-click Banelings as they're running towards him at full speed on creep. He has no problem with that whatsoever. Now, this push is going to kind of bleed out, I think, at some point. Well, as I say that, actually. He's stimming through over here. There's no armory here, by the way. Well, there is an armory, but no 2-2 upgrades quite yet. Baneling's now rolling in forward. Clem. Marines on the left side are safe. Baneling count relatively low as army supply evens up. We have a little bit of, well, a little bit. We have a significant Ling run by on the 3rd base of Clem, whose 4th base has finished up. Scans should be available, although I'm not sure if our French Terran player right now is aware of that there are burrowed Lings in here. I don't think he was quite paying attention to what was happening with those Lings. So that could be annoying later on if he ever decides to move out again. There's still a... This is no joke number, you know. There's an okay number of Lings. There's like, what, 10, 12 Lings. They can take out SCVs pretty quickly. This medevac drop is going to get stopped here as well by SERRAL. Now, one of the things that we need to keep in mind is that the creep threat for SERRAL is looking pretty piss poor. We still have this ramp as kind of a pushing point as well. Still no tech labs whatsoever on these barracks. Pure marine production. We're going to see double tanks being popped out of 2 factories most likely, as 2-2 has finally started. fourth base now in location, or at the correct location. I hear a scan. Once again, more and more creep being denied here. I'm really doing a very good job at stopping creep threat. Now, of course, taking out a lot of queens in the early game helped out. 9 queens have gone down so far this game already. And although SERRAL looks to be in a fantastic position, creep is one of those resources that is kind of slow to build up and very quick to lose. And he needs to start building it up. He needs to start getting those tumors out there. And so far, well, he's not doing necessarily a great job at that. Hive is being researched. That's going to bring a little bit of a halt in his upgrade production, as that Hive isn't done yet. In order to start the 3-3 upgrades, Zerg requires the Hive upgrade. Single marine drop, just for scouting purpose. Still saw everything here. And I was like, hey, that's too much. I'll just piss off again. Clem is not aware of the state of the Hive. The moment the Vipers come out, this type of dead space sitting, which Terrans love to do because it's difficult to defend. You need units in multiple positions often to deal with it. Instead of dead space sitting will be, will not be as viable anymore because Parasitic Bomb takes care of that. SERRAL, with a lot of resources in the bank, has been meticulously spreading creep right now. He decides to go for a little bit of a move out. Unburrow into the third base. Not a whole lot of tanks in position. One is sieged up. Second one sieges up as well right now. Planetary will get taken out. Not the end of the world. SERRAL just looking really to trade banks and did manage to kind of do that. But because this base was already done, there's already a 5th on the way. This was really kind of okay here. I don't think Clem looks back at that particular engagement and, you know, he's not going to have nightmares because of that particular engagement. I think there's some engagements earlier that were much, much worse for him. Now he's pushing across the map. Once they hit a pre-Viper timing, it's going to be hard because Vipers are, well, over halfway done already, or well, at least a single Viper is halfway done. Single Viper is not the end of the world if you have 35 tanks. Clem has 9, and I think out of these 9, at least 2 or 3 will need to stay at home. Not even sure if Clem can truly move across the map. I'm loving these Viking additions. This is something that I saw Ryang and Maru do for a very long time. Gumiho did this as well. And the European Terrans never really seem to catch on. As like a transitional unit, having 2 to 4 Vikings to deal with Vipers, it's just really freaking useful. And I love to see Clem do that at this point as well. As he throws down a 6th base, we have these outside bases now being taken for SERRAL, with especially this gold base kind of posing a threat here to Clem in the long term. Now in the short term it's annoying for Clem because the bank of SERRAL is increasing rapidly. However, in the long term it's much more detrimental because this is one out of the 2 neutral bases on this map. And I don't really see Clem ever expanding to the top right side, which means that SERRAL eventually most likely is going to get this base, or no one is going to get this base. So if SERRAL mines out an extra base over his opponent, that means that Clem will need some insanely efficient fights in order to make up that money deficit. Here comes an attack out of SERRAL. This is a good defensive setup for Clem as he lifts this command center just barely in time. It was morphing into a planetary. That turns this fight into a largely useless one. I think maybe a 1 or 1.5k swing in Clem's favor here when it comes to the resources lost. I think it was 3k before. It is a little bit over 4k right now, 4.4k I believe. The resources lost difference, and the base stays alive, so mining isn't really interrupted in any significant way. Orbital commands are already being added in. Of course, this gold base still providing a lot of value, and I'm kind of surprised that SERRAL hasn't taken the gases here yet, wanting to start mining these ASAP, because I think that is a very vital part here of this type of in this type of scenario. Very important for Zergs, very, very important. Double lips now in production. We don't quite have the fusion core yet, so no advanced ballistics, which is the real name of the Liberator range. I always wonder what the correct way is to say these things. I think for clarity it often is better to just, you know, say Liberator range or the Blue Flame Hellion rather than the, what is it, the Pre-Infernal Igniter. Because everyone knows what the Blue Flame is. Not everyone knows what the blue, what is it, the Pre-Infernal Igniter is, or the Caduceus Reactor. I don't even know what the Caduceus Reactor is. I know that there's an upgrade that's called that, but I have no clue what it does. It might be the Medevac regeneration boost or something like that. There's lots of things there. Oh, As I'm rambling on, we have another attack over. EMPs connecting with Vipers. That is big. As 2 Blinding Clouds have also connected, though. Planetary gets blasted here. That means that this orbital can now move over. Not really the end of the world. This trade was actually fairly even. Maybe even a bit SERRAL favored, if anything. I'm surprised by that. I really am. I thought that these late-game Baneling trades, that is the one thing I was very worried about for Zergs. Because of the weaker Baneling. Now I have 5 more Overseers on the way. There is a Hydraling Bane Force here on the top side. And these Marines are gonna get taken out. Medivacs went over the cliff already. Forgot about the Marines. And their inability of flying. Bunch of idiots. Why didn't they just get the jetpacks? Can't believe it. They have the technology, but... No, not for the Marines, only for the Reapers. No jetpack thrusters for them. Orbital Command is set up over here as this Baneling was providing a bit of vision. Is now going to get unburrowed. Double Liberators get cooled in. So I just don't think there's enough tanks in position here. That means that a lot of SCVs are going to end up falling. I think this was a very good trade for SERRAL over here. I really do believe so. As I said, I see that he's lost about 1.5k more. Maybe it felt better than it really was. I looked at it and I thought to myself, yeah, that's nice. I do believe that Clem is spreading himself quite thin here as well. And I wonder what the thought is of expanding towards the right. Well, this base, SERRAL is never going to take this base. Okay, let's face facts. This base, however, is already being mined out. So I think a more pressing issue would be to capture this watchtower and try and deny this bottom side base. Clem was completely unaware of it though. That might be the issue here. I think if Clem was aware of the fact that this gold base is being mined out, I doubt he'd take this planetary. I really doubt he'd take this planetary. This is going to be very painful once he figures that all out. It's Clem in the defensive posture, SERRAL with a massive rotation outside of Clem's vision. And this is what I'm worried about. You have to spread yourself very thin. And Clem is, well, he's as thin as they come right now here. There's a bunch of bio here, but there's only 2 tanks. One of them gets Blinding Clouded, the other one gets taken out by Hydralisks. One more tank in the far back, but this planetary is toast. A couple of snipes go down, but the rest of the units move out of snipe range. Just in time. Orbital's gonna fly over. Where's that orbital coming from? Is that a main base orbital? Oh, wow. Look at that. A couple of extra command centers just being finished up in that main base. I wouldn't necessarily mind a planetary over here or in this general area. But the moment this base is mined out and we're really approaching that situation, Clem needs the top right side base. And it's a base that I just don't see him take in the next, 5 minutes or so. I don't think that is viable. What I think is a more viable scenario here is that Clem is spread too thin and that SERRAL's going to keep hitting alternate sides here. So right now he's moving towards the left, whereas Clem, well, out of position. Tanks have moved towards the far right side and now he's going to get a big surprise. And not a very good surprise. This isn't like Christmas morning. No, Clem, it is not like Christmas morning at all, unless bad things happen every Christmas morning. It's like someone burned down your tree. If someone burned down your tree every single Christmas, then this is very familiar. This is a familiar sensation, you know? This is the same as Christmas, Clem. This looks terrible all around for the Frenchie. It's gonna lose 1 orbital command. It's gonna lose this command center as well that had just finished up. And this planetary might even die on top of all of that. This all looks terrible for Clem, especially because there's such a large bank and a huge larva bank as well. This is one of SERRAL's superpowers. He has many different superpowers. Doesn't just have the ability to fly or, you know, he can, you know, see through walls or something. He kind of has all of it. You know, he just, literally every single one. Sometimes you see like these Instagram posts, like if you could pick one superpower out of these 8, which one would you pick? And SERRAL just has all 8 of them. Like he has that ability to inject during all of it. He has that ability to set up very solid fights. The creep has been lacking a bit though. You've got to be real about it. He understands what needs to be done in order to win these games. And now he's in such a dominant position. Clem is going to try to move towards the top right side, which is understandable and probably correct. But also it is going to be very freaking difficult. Here comes the Unburrow on that Infestor. Ghost can be picked up right now, but Clem doesn't even bother as he's losing a lot of tanks. They're not sieged up quite yet. Baneling's rolling in. And I do believe that this should pretty much be it, because it's 58 army supply against 98. The income for Clem is going to suck massively. Resources lost are way too close for this to be a viable late game split map. Clem with the tap out, the GG. As SERRAL wins this beautiful little ladder game. Nice game here on Golden Aura. And of course, huge shout out to Clem for sending it to me. It is difficult to get ladder games out of people, okay? It is not easy. Getting ladder games out of people in which they lost, okay, that I have to take some hits for that. And there's very little people that are willing to send them, even after, you know, I beg them for it. Clem sent it within 5 seconds. So huge shout out as always to him. One of the nicest pro gamers, super helpful, always answers my questions, always willing to share a replay. Very kind of him indeed. So yeah, despite him losing, yeah, he's a great person. But of course, that's not going to get you any MMR points, Clem. Keep fighting the good fight. All right, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you did enjoy this game. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.